If you want a ride that completely eliminates surprise shop bills and roadside breakdowns, these platforms are absolute gold. Engineered for maximum durability, they spend their entire lives on the road instead of on a lift. Let's count down 10 cars that never break down. Number 10. Toyota Sequoia. The Toyota Sequoia starts this list with the kind of durability you'd expect from a full-size SUV built around a truck platform. It's designed to carry large families, handle long highway trips, tow heavy loads, and deal with demanding use without feeling like every mile is taking years off its life. A major strength is its body-on-frame construction. Instead of using a car-based platform, the Sequoia is built on a truck-style foundation shared with other large Toyota vehicles. That gives the chassis plenty of strength and makes it better suited to the weight and workload expected from a full-size SUV. The Sequoia has also benefited from Toyota's long experience with large trucks and SUVs. The current generation uses a twin-turbo 3.4-liter V6 hybrid powertrain, while older models used V8 engines with a long history of high-mileage use. So although the newest Sequoia doesn't have decades of history itself, the engineering behind the model comes from a much longer family of vehicles. Space is another reason this SUV can remain useful for years. There's enough room for passengers, cargo, and towing duties, meaning owners don't necessarily outgrow the vehicle as their needs change. Well-maintained older Sequoias can reach 200,000 miles and beyond, although keeping any full-size SUV at that mileage still requires regular maintenance and replacement of normal wear items. The Toyota Sequoia earns its place because it's built for work, not just appearance. A strong chassis, proven truck-based engineering, serious towing ability, and a history of high-mileage use give it the foundation to remain on the road long after many vehicles have been retired. Number 9. Honda Civic. The Honda Civic has spent decades proving that a car doesn't need to be large or expensive to survive serious mileage. Its reputation comes from something much simpler. Millions of owners have used Civics as daily commuters, first cars, family cars, and long-distance transportation, often keeping them long after the average vehicle would have been replaced. One reason is that the Civic has traditionally avoided unnecessary excess. It is a relatively lightweight car with engines designed around everyday efficiency rather than extreme power. That means the basic mechanical components are generally dealing with a more manageable workload during normal driving. The Civic's popularity also becomes a major advantage as it gets older. Almost every repair shop has experience with them, replacement parts are easy to find, and there is an enormous amount of knowledge available when something eventually needs fixing. Owners aren't dealing with a rare vehicle that requires a specialist for every small problem. High-mileage Civics are common for a reason. With regular oil changes, timely maintenance, and basic care, many have passed 200,000 miles. Of course, age still brings normal expenses like suspension work brakes, cooling system repairs, and other wear items, but those costs don't necessarily mean the car itself is finished. Another reason owners keep them for so long is that they remain practical even as they age. They're easy to park, economical to run, and inexpensive compared with many larger vehicles. The Honda Civic has earned its long-lasting reputation through years of real-world use. Simple, everyday engineering, manageable running costs, widespread parts availability, and a history of surviving high mileage make it one of the strongest choices for anyone who wants a car they can keep driving for a very long time. Number 8. Mazda CX-5. The Mazda CX-5 earns this spot because its long-term strength comes from keeping the basic formula relatively straightforward. It isn't an oversized SUV with a huge engine, and it doesn't depend on a complicated collection of performance hardware. For everyday owners, that can be a major advantage as the miles start adding up. The CX-5's engines have been used across Mazda's lineup, giving them plenty of real-world history. The naturally aspirated versions in particular have a straightforward design that many owners appreciate. There's less going on under the hood compared with some turbocharged competitors, which can mean fewer expensive components to worry about as the vehicle ages. The The compact size helps too. A lighter vehicle puts less demand on brakes, suspension components, tires, and other wear items. That doesn't make the CX-5 maintenance-free, but it can keep normal ownership expenses more manageable over a long period. Mazda has also sold the CX-5 in large numbers, so finding mechanics familiar with the model isn't difficult. Parts are widely available, and owners have plenty of options beyond the dealership when routine service is needed. High-mileage CX-5s can remain useful well beyond the typical ownership cycle. Reaching 150,000 miles is very achievable with proper care, and well-maintained examples can continue toward 200,000 miles while still serving as dependable daily transportation. What makes the CX-5 stand out is the balance. You get an SUV with useful cargo space, good road manners, reasonable running costs, and mechanical systems that don't need to be pushed hard just to do their job. For owners who want a vehicle that can quietly rack up years without becoming an expensive repair project, the Mazda CX-5 is one of the strongest compact SUVs to consider. Number 7. Lexus GX. The Lexus GX stands apart because durability is built into its basic structure. While many luxury SUVs are designed mainly around paved road comfort, the GX was developed with serious off-road capability in mind. That means its chassis, suspension, drivetrain, and four-wheel drive system were all expected to handle conditions that would be far beyond the needs of an ordinary crossover. Its body-on-frame construction is a major part of the story. This truck-style setup gives the GX a strong foundation and makes it well-suited to towing, rough terrain, and heavy use. The luxury cabin doesn't change the fact that underneath, this is a tough utility vehicle. Older GX models are especially known for their V8 engines. These engines were shared with other Lexus and Toyota vehicles, creating a huge real-world record of long-term use. Properly maintained examples can pass 200,000 miles, and some continue well beyond that. The GX also benefits from strong mechanical familiarity. Mechanics who work on Toyota trucks and SUVs are often already familiar with many of the systems used in the GX. That makes repairs easier to handle when an older vehicle eventually needs suspension work, cooling system repairs, or drivetrain service. Fuel economy isn't its strength, and maintenance isn't as inexpensive as it would be on a compact car. But that's the trade-off for having a vehicle built to handle much more demanding work. The Lexus GX earns its place because it doesn't merely have a reputation for reliability. Its construction gives it a genuine mechanical advantage. Strong truck-based hardware, proven engines, serious four-wheel drive capability, and a long history of high-mileage use make the GX one of the toughest luxury SUVs you can keep for the long haul. Number 6. Honda Accord. The Honda Accord earns its spot because it has spent decades doing one thing extremely well, providing dependable transportation without making ownership complicated. Millions of Accords have been sold, giving the model an enormous history of real-world use and allowing Honda to refine the formula over generation after generation. One of the biggest advantages is the way the Accord is designed for everyday driving. It doesn't need to be driven aggressively to feel capable, and its engines are generally used within a comfortable operating range during normal commuting. That can help reduce unnecessary stress on the powertrain over a long ownership period. The Accord is also easy to keep running. Honda has a huge service network across the United States, while independent repair shops are already familiar with the model. Replacement parts are widely available, and routine maintenance is generally straightforward compared with many premium or performance-oriented cars. High-mileage Accords are common for a reason. Reaching 150,000 or 200,000 miles isn't unusual for a properly maintained example, and many owners continue driving them long after those numbers. Eventually, suspension components, brakes, cooling parts, and other age-related items will need attention, but the car itself can still have plenty of useful life remaining. Another strength is its versatility. The Accord works as a commuter, family car, road trip vehicle, or daily driver without requiring major compromises. Owners don't have to replace it simply because their driving needs change slightly. A long production history, proven engines, broad parts availability, and an enormous base of experienced mechanics make the Honda Accord one of the cars most capable of staying useful deep into its lifespan. Number 5. Toyota RAV4. The Toyota RAV4 earns this position because it has become one of the most proven compact SUVs on American roads. With millions sold over multiple generations, there is a huge amount of real-world experience behind the name. Owners aren't relying entirely on predictions about how the vehicle might age. There are already plenty of older examples showing what happens when these SUVs accumulate serious mileage. The RAV4 also benefits from a relatively sensible approach to power. Its engines are designed for everyday transportation rather than extreme performance, so the vehicle doesn't need to work excessively hard during normal commuting. That matters when the goal is to keep the same SUV for 10 or 15 years. The hybrid version adds another reason for confidence. Toyota has been refining its hybrid system for decades, and the technology has been used across a huge range of vehicles. That experience gives the RAV4 hybrid a strong foundation for long-term ownership. Parts and service are another advantage. The RAV4 is so common that mechanics see them constantly, while replacement components are easy to source. Owners can also find plenty of independent shops capable of handling routine work without paying dealership prices for every service. The RAV4's manageable size helps keep everyday expenses under control too. Tires, brakes, fuel, and other consumables generally cost less than they would on a much larger SUV. The real appeal is how little drama the RAV4 needs to provide. It offers useful cargo space, good efficiency, familiar mechanical systems, and a proven record of high-mileage ownership. For someone looking to keep an SUV for the long haul, the Toyota RAV4 remains one of the safest choices in its class. Number 4. Honda CR-V. The Honda CR-V earns this position by making long-term ownership remarkably practical. Its compact footprint keeps daily driving easy, while the cabin and cargo area provide enough room for families, luggage, groceries, and everything else that comes with regular use. A big advantage is its efficient powertrain. The CR-V doesn't need huge amounts of power to move its relatively light body, so normal commuting doesn't put the same demands on the engine and drivetrain that you might see in a much larger SUV. The hybrid option also gives high-mileage drivers a way to reduce fuel consumption without giving up everyday usability. The CR-V has another advantage that becomes more important as a vehicle gets older: familiarity. Honda has sold millions of them, and repair shops across the country know the platform well. Replacement parts are widely available, while routine maintenance can usually be handled without specialized equipment. The model's long history also gives buyers plenty of evidence about how these SUVs age. Older CR-Vs with 150,000 or 200,000 miles are common, and well-maintained examples can continue much farther. Like any aging vehicle, components such as brakes, suspension parts, cooling system pieces, and seals will eventually need replacement, but those expenses don't mean the entire vehicle has reached the end of its life. Another reason the CR-V works so well over time is its versatility. It can serve as a commuter, family vehicle, road trip car, or practical second vehicle without feeling out of place in any of those roles. Efficient powertrains, manageable size, widespread mechanical knowledge, and a long record of high-mileage use give the Honda CR-V exactly what a long-term owner needs. Number 3. Toyota Corolla. The Toyota Corolla earns the number 3 position because few cars have a longer record of simple, dependable transportation. The Corolla has been sold around the world for decades, and its reputation wasn't built on marketing alone. Millions of owners have put these cars through daily commuting, heavy traffic, long highway trips, and years of regular use. One reason the Corolla lasts so well is its focus on efficiency rather than extreme performance. The car is relatively light, the engines don't need to produce huge amounts of power, and the drivetrain is designed around normal transportation. That reduces the amount of stress placed on major components during everyday driving. The Corolla is also exceptionally easy to service. Because there are so many of them on the road, independent mechanics know the platform inside and out. Common replacement parts are easy to source, and routine jobs such as brakes, fluids, filters, and suspension work don't require unusual expertise. Fuel economy is another long-term advantage. A car that doesn't consume much fuel can save its owner thousands of dollars over years of commuting. That lower running cost becomes especially valuable when someone plans to keep the same vehicle for a decade or longer. High-mileage Corollas are everywhere for a simple reason: they keep being useful. Properly maintained examples can reach 200,000 miles and continue serving as daily transportation, while older models with even higher mileage can still be found on the road. The Corolla doesn't need a powerful engine, luxury cabin, or complicated technology to justify its place here. Simple engineering, low running costs, huge parts availability, and decades of real-world durability make the Toyota Corolla one of the clearest examples of a car built to stay useful for the long haul. Number 2. Lexus ES. The Lexus ES takes the number 2 spot by proving that a comfortable luxury car doesn't have to become a financial headache as it gets older. Its formula is built around quiet cruising, a smooth ride, and mechanical systems that have been refined over many years rather than constantly chasing high performance. The ES is especially well-suited to drivers who spend a lot of time on highways. The suspension absorbs rough pavement without making the cabin feel unsettled, while the quiet interior makes long trips far less tiring. Owners can put serious miles on the car without constantly subjecting the drivetrain to aggressive driving. Underneath the luxury appointments, the ES shares a lot of engineering DNA with Toyota vehicles. That gives it access to proven powertrain technology and a huge network of technicians who already understand the underlying mechanical systems. When maintenance is needed, owners aren't dealing with an obscure platform that only a handful of specialists know. The ES also has an advantage when it comes to long-term comfort. Unlike performance-focused luxury cars that may require expensive attention to specialized suspension and drivetrain components, the ES is designed primarily for relaxed transportation. Its priorities make sense for someone who plans to keep a car for many years. Older ES models regularly show up with substantial mileage while still being used as everyday transportation. Naturally, age brings maintenance requirements, including suspension components, fluids, brakes, and other wear items. But a well-maintained ES can remain useful long after many luxury cars have become expensive to keep. Quiet road manners, proven mechanical systems, strong service support, and a long history of high-mileage ownership make the Lexus ES one of the safest luxury car choices for someone who wants comfort without constantly worrying about what's going to fail next. Number 1. Toyota Camry. The Toyota Camry takes the top spot because it has spent decades proving that a car can rack up enormous mileage while remaining useful, comfortable, and affordable to maintain. This isn't a model that became popular because of one clever feature. Its reputation comes from millions of owners using it as everyday transportation for years and years. The Camry's biggest strength is its balanced powertrain. It has never needed extreme horsepower to do its job, and that means normal commuting doesn't require the engine or transmission to operate at their limits. The current hybrid system adds another advantage, delivering strong fuel economy while drawing on Toyota's long experience with hybrid technology. Then there's the sheer amount of service knowledge behind the car. Almost every repair shop is familiar with the Camry, and replacement parts are widely available. That makes routine maintenance easier and gives owners plenty of choices when the car eventually needs work. High-mileage Camrys are common on American roads. Properly maintained examples can reach 200,000 miles and beyond, while some continue much farther. Reaching that kind of mileage doesn't mean nothing will ever break. Brakes, suspension components, belts, hoses, batteries, and other wear items still age. The difference is that these repairs don't necessarily signal the end of the car. The Camry also stays useful as it ages. It has enough passenger space for families, a comfortable cabin for commuting, and good fuel economy for drivers who spend thousands of miles behind the wheel every year. A massive ownership history, proven powertrains, low running costs, easy servicing, and remarkable high mileage potential make the Toyota Camry the strongest number one choice for anyone looking for a car built to keep going long after the odometer stops looking impressive. And with this, we have reached the end of this video. Make sure to like it and subscribe the channel for future upcoming videos.